That honestly, it felt like a pre-season friendly. That is one of the worst, if not the worst Manchester derby I've seen that I can remember in my lifetime. The lack of quality that both sides had. It was basically Bruno Fernandes playing with a load of under 23s players. That's what it felt like quality wise. You know, De Bruyne's last ever Manchester derby, but the only thing worth talking about was Bruno Fernandes from that game because he was absolutely excellent. And honestly, I cannot believe what Man United is doing to Bruno. We'll sign a project player, we'll sign a project player. The guy's going to be 31. The guy deserves to win major trophies. Bring him in some good players to play with. Because you are doing Bruno dirty, making him sign that new deal, making him promise we'll be back. Bring in some good players that can play in the final third for Bruno next season because he deserves that. He does so much and there's not enough quality around him. He creates everything goes through him in the midfield. He does everything in our second and third phase. Yet Manchester United continue to do him dirty because this is the worst ever Manchester United era with one of our best ever players in Bruno Fernandes. And it was the Bruno show today. Yoro was good, Masraoui was good, Casemiro was good, but it was the Bruno show today. So let's talk about what we've learned from that really, really exciting Manchester derby. First of all, draw probably a fair result. Both teams didn't do enough, but if a team deserved to win, I would say I'd give us the extra nudge on the deserve to win a meter. But we don't have the quality in the final third. Hopefully, we're saving our goals for Lyon. One big chance apiece. Great. I think Foden was their big chance. Great tackle from Masraoui there. It was a pretty boring game. We did give them a bit more possession in the second half, but it ends in a 0-0. As I said, most touches, most passes, most final third passes, most crosses, most possession won, most successful take-ons, most chances created. If something was going to happen, it was going to be through Bruno, but he can't do it all. The only player at Man United, I believe, can score goals is Bruno Fernandes because Højlund went 1 in 22 games without a goal. Garnacho went 1 in over 20 games, went over 20 games without a goal. Zirkzee never been a goal scorer. Mason Mount can't stay fit. Ahmad is out injured. He's the only guy that can score goals. He's the only guy that can pass. He's the only guy that can create. And he needs better players around him. So let's talk about the game, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. To be honest, this game felt a little bit like most games we've had under Amorim. The overall performance was okay. I don't think we deserve to lose to Nottingham Forest. And I think there's been a lot of games under Amorim where I don't think we deserve to lose, but we don't have the quality to win. We can't score. Under Amorim, we have declined in an attacking sense. Is that because Marcus Rashford is out Villa? Anthony is at Betis and Ahmad is out injured and we've lost 3 attackers and we didn't gain an attacker. So is that particularly Ruben Amorim's fault? Maybe not. I feel like our attacking has declined because there's just a severe lack of quality and I'm not blaming Amorim for that. I believe with the right players, Amorim can be a really good coach at United because I'm seeing Amorim's system and I'm seeing signs of progress, but the performance was okay under Amorim. I think our all-round play and performances under Amorim are better than they are under Ten Hag, but we're not scoring the goals. We've regressed in that sense. We didn't replace Rashford, who does score goals. Whether you like Rashford or not, and whether you wanted Rashford gone, you cannot deny that he would have scored about 10 goals this season if he was in the same position where Garnacho had not scored. Like, there's been about 10 opportunities where Garnacho has been in a position where he could score and Rashford's going to score or get a goal or assist from that situation. We probably did enough to be 1-0 up, even 2-0 up, but we lack the quality in the final third and it just continues to cost us. Edison made a few saves, but we didn't make him make a world of a save. We had opportunities, but the touch was bad, the shot was bad. We couldn't get Højlund involved. That's now 2 games in a row where we've been all right, but we haven't scored and we've never looked like scoring. We're waiting for Bruno to come out of nothing and do something to win us the game. I think it's not just... Pardon me, I thought I was going to burp. I think it's not just about scoring. I think striker is clearly the number 1 priority because I felt Zirkzee offered more than Højlund when he came on. And we need a striker, and that's number 1. But I also felt there was build-up concerns. Now, I thought Casemiro had a good game, but I think him and Agati in possession together do not work. They did well off the ball. They dominated the midfield off the ball. The City midfield was appalling. But we lack that progressive passer. And I think that's why Bruno dropping deeper this season has helped. And when Bruno was playing as a 10, he was dropping deeper to get involved. After a striker, we need to look at a progressive midfielder. Bruno can play 10. Ahmed will be back next season. For me, it goes striker number 1 priority, then then pivot player, then 10. You get Delap, cool. Probably not going to get Ostenham, probably not going to get Yoro. You get Delap, cool. You go for someone like a Wharton or a Stiller if you could get him, brilliant. And then, if you get a Delap, that 10 needs to be a proven 10, like a Mateus Cunha. Not a project 10, like a proven 10. Maybe that's what you could do. And that's just Premier League players that come to my head. Wharton would be great. I don't think that's realistic, but we need that player. We need a striker. We need a 10. We need a progressive player. We can look for a young right wing back. We can look for a young centre back. I think defensively there's good signs. Masraouy's good at centre back. Luke Shaw, let's hope he stays fit. Yoro's been really good at left centre back. But that progressive player. I think if you find a really progressive player, Agate's good because Agate does everything off the ball, but we lack that. I think today we miss Maino. Whether you like Maino or not, in build-up, he's able to do what Agate and Casemiro cannot do. Casemiro, I thought, had a solid game. I thought Casemiro is decent, but he's a pressing trigger. Man City didn't press. Man City were very passive, and we're lucky about Man City's lack of physicality. But yeah, as I said, Bruno was unreal again. Ran the show, did everything. Yoro has been so good at left centre back. I think his pace allows him to deal with tricky attackers. I think he's done so well on the left side. I know he had a stinker versus Southampton 3-4 months ago, but look at Lenny Yoro's last 6 starts. Every game I watch Lenny Yoro play, he improves, he gets better. In the big games, he deals with his man well. He's very physical. He's never played in the back three before coming to United, but he seems to really adapt and is improving in that position. Masraoui had a good game, really good last-ditch tackle on Foden. Dorgu was getting into good positions. There was twice where Garnacho, I think, should have played him in. But I do think that Dorgu's final ball is lacking. It's better than Delo, but it's still not good enough. He's 20 years of age. He's not the finished product. We couldn't get Nuno Mendes. We couldn't get Kirkes, which was the frustration. We desperately needed someone in January. But we still need another wing back. We need another wing back. We need a centre-back for depth. We need a pivot progressor. We need a 10 and we need a striker. We need those 5 key areas. We arguably need a goalkeeper. Anana's kicking. But we can prioritise that next year. Garnacho again. Garnacho, I wouldn't have subbed him off. I'm glad that he played the full 90. I think Højlund was the right sub. And I know people getting frustrated with Garnacho, but he added a lot in terms of holding the width, the drive, the energy. He was running at City, he was causing a lot of issues. But sometimes I feel like we give him too much to do, where he's just running and running and running, and then he's not got that energy left for the final ball. Like, Garnacho's decision-making today was poor. His shots were very weak. His physicality lacked. He lost his jewels. He made the wrong decision many times. But he's always getting the ball in the right areas, causing a nuisance. But it's that final action that lacks. If Garnacho can improve his power, his ball striking, his decision-making, there's a good player there. But again, he really lacks. And that's why I think he's better off the bench when he's a bit fitter than everybody else. I thought Xerxes had a good, I'm not going to say good game, but I thought he offered more than Højlund. He almost scored. Højlund. I like Højlund. Not totally his fault. But he just couldn't get involved today. There was just nothing. And we really need a striker. There was just nothing. Bruno Fernandes. I honestly can't believe what this club is doing to Bruno Fernandes. He signed a new contract with the promise that we'd be back. And if he has... And he has to play with that. Ineos, he could have left this summer. Ineos were like begging him, son, your contract, saying we're going to be back. It's going to be different under Ineos. And he has to play with that. He was too good for everybody on that pitch. He's too good for that football match. It was like a championship match that Bruno Fernandes was playing in. It was like 2 championship sides that Bruno Fernandes was playing in. He's too good for that. Ineos need to stop these project players and give him some teammates he needs. Bring in Gyökeres. Bring in Cunha. And give Bruno those 2 players to feed. Give that to Bruno Fernandes. Because he signed that new contract. He's turning 31. He's given everything to this club. So give him that. Give him that. Because he was fantastic. He was excellent today, Bruno. Going into the game didn't feel like a Manchester derby. It lacked intensity and quality from both sides. Out of possession defensively, we've improved, but we clearly don't have enough final third quality. And I feel like, I say this every game, but outside of Bruno, no one in this team has goals in them. This didn't feel like a Manchester derby. It didn't. Casemiro, I want to give a shout out to. I thought he had a good game. 11 tackles, most since Owen Hargreaves in 06-07. Most along with and Evra versus Portsmouth in 2008. Sorry, that's what I meant. A very good game off the ball. I think he was a little bit naive and gave the ball away sometimes on the ball, but I thought he had a very solid game. And I think since January he stepped up. Because I remember that Newcastle game, he had a howler, but I think he stepped up since. And I will say this, Mount gets booked for his first foul. Diaz and Bernardo Silva made about 5 fouls before they got booked. And I will say the ref didn't help. You're not going to blame the ref. Draw was probably a fair score, considering we didn't do much. But that's the lowest XG Man City have had in the game. It was a pretty crap game. And to be honest, the ref was pretty crap, but we're used to that. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye.